Ladies and gentlemen, fear is the greatest prison that keeps us from our destiny. It whispers doubt, magnifies obstacles, and paralyzes dreams. But today, I have come to tell you, don't fear what's next. The future is not your enemy. It is your responsibility. Your next season is not a mystery to God. And if He is not afraid of your future, neither should you be. Let me give you 3 powerful keys to overcoming fear and walking boldly into what's next. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest deceptions in life is the belief that the future is somewhere out there, waiting for us to discover it. People walk around looking for their future as if it is a hidden treasure buried in the sands of time. They search for signs, chase after opportunities, and wait for something to happen that will change the course of their lives. But I have come to tell you today, the future is not ahead of you. The future is inside of you, waiting to be released. Every great invention, every movement, every breakthrough that has ever transformed the world did not come from something external. It came from within someone. The future is not something you walk into. It is something you give birth to. A tree is not waiting somewhere in the sky to be planted. It is locked inside the seed. The moment the seed is placed in the right environment, the tree emerges. Not because it was found, but because it was released. Everything you are meant to become is already in you. Your gifts, your vision, your purpose, they are not waiting in some distant time and place. They are encoded in the very fabric of your being. The problem is that too many people are waiting for something external to validate or activate what God has already placed inside of them. They are waiting for a job to define them, for money to qualify them, for relationships to complete them, or for some grand opportunity to push them forward. But your future is not in a job. Your future is not in money. Your future is not in the hands of people. It is in you. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. It is dying without ever having released what was inside of you. The graveyard is filled with books that were never written, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never started, and dreams that were never pursued. The future of nations, communities, and generations was locked inside people who never realized that what they were looking for was already within them. Consider the story of an eagle raised among chickens. Because it grew up among birds that could not fly, it lived its entire life scratching the ground, never realizing it was designed for the skies. It had the wings of an eagle, the instincts of an eagle, and the strength of an eagle. But because it was never aware of what was inside of it, it never took flight. There are many people today living like that eagle, designed for greatness but living below their potential because they believe their future is something they must find rather than something they must unleash. When you understand that the future is in you, you stop chasing and start creating. You stop waiting for opportunities and start making them. You stop depending on external validation and start drawing from the well that is already inside of you. You begin to realize that your gifts, your ideas, and your vision are the keys to unlocking your next level. You do not have to fear tomorrow, because tomorrow is not something that happens to you. It is something that comes out of you. Every great leader, every innovator, every world changer that has ever lived understood this truth. They did not wait for their future, they activated it. When Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, he did not discover something in the world, he discovered something in himself. When Martin Luther King Jr. led a movement, he did not step into a future that was waiting for him. He released a vision that was burning inside of him. When entrepreneurs, artists, and pioneers shake the world, they are not finding the future, they are manifesting it. The question today is not, what does the future hold? The real question is, what are you holding inside of you? What ideas have you buried? What dreams have you ignored? What potential have you left untapped? You do not need another confirmation. You do not need another sign. Everything you need to step into the next season of your life is already within you. When a woman is pregnant, she does not go looking for her child in the world. The child is already inside of her, waiting to be delivered. Your purpose, your destiny, your assignment, they are not coming from somewhere else. They are waiting to be birthed. Stop looking outside for what God has placed within. Your future is not ahead of you, it is in you. Fear is the greatest thief of destiny. It disguises itself as wisdom, but it is nothing more than a voice of deception. It speaks with authority, yet it has no power of its own. It whispers limitations, yet it cannot see the fullness of your potential. It predicts failure, yet it does not control the outcome. Fear is a liar, and its greatest weapon is convincing you to believe in things that have no foundation in truth. From the moment you step into purpose, fear begins to speak. It tells you that you're not qualified. It reminds you of your past. It highlights your weaknesses. It shows you every possible scenario in which you might fail. But notice this: fear never confirms what is true. It only speculates about what might happen. It is a master of false prophecy. It paints pictures of destruction and despair, but it has no power to bring them to pass. The only way fear wins is if you believe its lies and act according to its predictions. Fear is not a force, it is a suggestion. It does not have hands to stop you. It does not have chains to bind you. It does not have a voice that commands authority over your life. The only way fear can rule is if you obey it. It convinces you to stop before you start, to quit before you finish, and to retreat before you even fight. Fear is not fighting against you. It is trying to get you to fight against yourself. Every great person who has ever changed history has had to confront the voice of fear. It told David that he was too young to fight Goliath. It told Moses that he was not a good enough speaker to lead Israel. It told Peter that walking on water was impossible. But in each case, fear was wrong. David did defeat Goliath. Moses did lead the people out of Egypt. Peter did walk on water. Fear predicted what it could not control, and it was exposed as a liar. Fear is always wrong because it is always based on an assumption, not a fact. It assumes that if you fail once, you will never succeed. It assumes that if no one supports you now, no one ever will. It assumes that because you have never done it before, you are incapable of doing it at all. But what fear does not know is that failure is not final. It does not know that rejection today does not mean rejection tomorrow. It does not understand that growth, experience, and persistence can change the outcome. Fear predicts, but it does not decide. The greatest strategy of fear is to paralyze you in the present so that you never step into the future. It wants to keep you stuck in hesitation, doubt, and second guessing. It convinces you that safety is better than risk, comfort is better than challenge, and familiarity is better than purpose. But fear never tells you the full story. It will show you the risk of stepping out, but it will never show you the cost of staying the same. It will magnify what you might lose, but it will never reveal what you could gain. It will warn you of the pain of trying, but it will never tell you about the pain of regret. Fear is a liar because it operates outside of truth. Truth is what God has said about you. Truth is what has already been written about your destiny. Truth is that you are equipped, prepared, and positioned for greatness. Truth is that failure is not the end, and obstacles are not. Fear cannot override truth, but it can make you ignore it. Fear's greatest victory is keeping you from even trying. It will tell you that the business will fail, so you never start it. It will tell you that your dream is too big, so you never pursue it. It will tell you that you will be rejected, so you never apply. And the moment you accept its predictions, you give fear the control it never actually had. Every time fear speaks, you must ask yourself, what if it's wrong? What if you are more capable than you realize? What if the opportunity you are afraid to take is the one that will change your life? What if the risk is not as dangerous as you thought? What if success is on the other side of your hesitation? Fear never considers these possibilities because its goal is not to give you options. Its goal is to make you surrender. Fear will always predict, but it will never have the power to control the future. It will tell you that you cannot, but it cannot stop you from trying. It will tell you that you will fail, but it cannot stop you from learning. It will tell you that you are not enough, but it cannot stop you from growing. Fear is only as powerful as the belief you give it. It speaks loudly, but it is powerless. It predicts, but it cannot control. It intimidates, but it cannot stop what is meant to be pain. Is one of the most unavoidable realities of life. Everyone experiences it, whether physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Some pain comes from failure. Some pain comes from rejection. Some pain comes from betrayal. Some pain comes from betrayal. Some pain comes from waiting, from struggling. No one is exempt from pain, but what separates those who fulfill their purpose from those who surrendered to defeat is the understanding that pain is not the end. It is not a destination. It is a process. Pain has a voice, and it speaks loudly. It tells you to quit. It tells you that you are not strong enough to endure. It tells you that your dreams are too costly. It tells you that no one sees what you're going through, that no one understands your struggle, that no one appreciates your sacrifice. Pain tries to convince you that it is bigger than your calling, greater than your destiny, and stronger than your will to continue. But pain is a liar. It only has the power you give it. Purpose is always revealed in the midst of struggle. Every person who has ever done something great has had to endure something painful. The weight of responsibility, the frustration of delays, the agony of loss, the pressure of leadership. These are all the fires that refine purpose. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified in the fire. Muscles are built through resistance. Strength is developed through adversity. If you run from pain, you run from growth. If you avoid hardship, you avoid preparation. If you give up when things get difficult, you forfeit the very thing that was designed to make you strong enough to carry your assignment. There is no such thing as a great calling without great challenges. Every person used for something significant had to endure something severe. Joseph had to go through betrayal, false accusations, and imprisonment before he stepped into leadership. Moses had to endure rejection, isolation, and self-doubt before he delivered a nation. David had to face lions, bears, and a giant before he ever sat on the throne. Even Jesus himself endured pain, mockery, and suffering before fulfilling his ultimate purpose. Pain is not a punishment, it is preparation. It is the fire that burns away weakness, insecurity, and fear, so that only purpose remains. The problem is that most people try to avoid pain instead of learning from it. They want success without struggle, promotion without process, and reward without refinement. But the truth is, you cannot carry purpose if you are not strong enough to endure pressure. The higher the calling, the greater the refining. The deeper the purpose, the stronger the preparation. God never wastes pain. He uses it to equip you, shape you, and prepare you for what he has already destined you to accomplish. Pain often comes as a test. It asks one question: will you continue? Will you keep pushing when the weight is heavy? Will you keep believing when nothing is changing? Will you keep trusting when doors are closing? Will you keep working when no one is watching? Pain comes to see if you are truly committed to the purpose you claim to have. Anyone can be excited at the beginning of the journey, but pain reveals whether you have the endurance to finish it. Pain also has a way of revealing what you are made of. It strips away pretense, pride, and self-sufficiency. It humbles you, reminding you that you cannot do this alone. It forces you to depend on something greater than yourself. It deepens your character, enlarges your capacity, and strengthens your resilience. It removes distractions, forcing you to focus on what truly matters. There are two types of people in life: those who allow pain to break them and those who allow pain to build them. The same fire that melts wax hardens clay. The same storm that uproots weak trees strengthens deep roots. The same pressure that crushes some people makes others unshakable. It is not the pain itself that determines your future. It is your response to it. The enemy uses pain as a weapon to stop you, but God uses pain as a tool to prepare you. The enemy wants you to see pain as the reason to quit, but God wants you to see pain as the process of becoming. The enemy wants you to believe that your pain is wasted, but God is using every tear, every struggle, every loss, and every challenge to shape you into the person you need to be to fulfill your assignment. Pain is temporary, but purpose is eternal. The struggles you face today will not last forever, but the impact of your obedience will echo for generations. The sacrifices you make today, the battles you fight, the tears you cry, the mountains you climb, they are not in vain. They are refining you, qualifying you, strengthening you for the weight of the destiny you are called to carry. And people allow pain to make them bitter instead of better. They allow wounds to turn into walls. They allow hurt to harden their hearts. They allow disappointment to kill their faith. But purpose requires that you see pain through the right lens. If you only focus on what you lost, you will miss what you are gaining. If you only see the hardship, you will miss the growth. If you only focus on the suffering, you will miss the strength being developed inside of you. You must make a decision. Will you let pain define you, or will you let it refine you? Will you allow it to cripple you, or will you allow it to build you? Will you allow it to silence your voice, or will you use it as fuel to fulfill your purpose? Pain is not greater than your purpose. It does not have the final say. It is not your master. It is not your end. It is only a chapter in the story of what you are becoming. I came here today to tell you this. Do not fear what's next. The future is not against you. It is waiting for you. Your potential is not in the hands of men. It is in the hands of God. And if He is not afraid of what's next, then neither should you be. Step forward with confidence. Walk boldly into your destiny. Let fear die today, and let purpose rise in its place. Because your best days are not behind you, they are ahead of you. Now go and walk into what's next. Would you like me to refine or adjust anything?